Hey, today is Thursday, the 25th after the bell. Okay, we've got earnings from Amazon. They were a beat. The stock rallied after hours, but then it tapered off because Intel came out and they lowered their guidance. Even though they beat on the top and the bottom line, they lowered guidance, and that kind of spooked the Nasdaq futures. So we wound up seeing those futures get pulled down, and that bled over into ES, pulling them down and so on and so forth. But we're taking a look here at the S&P, and this is kind of hard to explain in a set of tweets, so I'll just show it to you here on the chart. But here we made a closing high back on the 12th at 2907.41. And then in the following days thereafter, we would make, we failed to make a new closing high. Even when we made a new intraday high, we came back down and we wound up closing below that 2907. And this happened a couple of times until finally we gave up even trying to make new intraday highs, and we had this weird day on the 18th. And then finally, when we came into work on Monday, we took out that high, that closing high. We made that new closing high. We didn't make a new intraday high, but we finally made that new closing high, and that led to this tremendous rally on Tuesday of this week. Well, now here we are back in that boat again. Tuesday, we made this new 2019 high, plus we made a new all-time closing high on the S&P 500. Then on Tuesday, we made a tiny little bit of another new high, a high, just a couple of points, not even full points, just a few tenths above the high that we had made on Tuesday. We made a higher one on Wednesday, but look, we sold off into the close and didn't make the closing high. And then today we came in and we flushed all the way down, sort of tested the 10-day simple moving average and rallied all the way back up to a new high on the day, only to sell that all off into the close as well. But the only thing I can say that is kind of bullish underneath the surface here is that we are holding open this gap that runs from 29.19 to 29.25. This gap was, that last gap in 2018 that we had to fill up above us that leads the way to the new all-time high. And they are managing to hold the closes above this. So if we cannot hold a close tomorrow to end the week outside of this gap, then maybe people are going to just front run and sell Apple and Google earnings, and we're going to wind up with our end of the month correction. And what something like that would look like is, maybe we would come in and we would gap down, open below this gap, and we would just go for the ride from there. And remember, we're looking for 90 to 100 points off of our high, and if we were to take 90 points off of this high that we made in these couple of days here, that would take us back down to 28.46, which was a huge scene of crime breakout level. And in the first place, I thought 28.48, our low for the quarter so far, would be a level that we would test on a pullback. That would be like on a breakdown through the 10 and the 20 day, and maybe we would work our way all the way down here. So that would be how that scenario would set up and how you would know it's happening. You'd want to make sure you know about this gap and where it's located, and if we see just a breakdown through that, and then loss of the 10-day, and of course from there, we might spend one day bouncing off the 20-day, come back up here, not have any ability to close back above the 10-day, and then turn around and complete the sell-off on down. And if this is bullish, if they're just pulling our leg tonight, and we get some great read on GDP tomorrow morning, maybe everybody gets really bared up overnight, the inventory gets overly bearish, and we see something similar to what we saw here today, only maybe less time spent pushing down, and we open, we push down a little bit, and then we reverse and have a really powerful rally tomorrow to end the week up at a new all-time high and at a new all-time closing high for the S&P. That would be a whole other story. And in that case, then we would move on towards our 2850 and our 2950 and our 2960 targets, at which point I think this up here is where things might peter out, and then we come back down. And in that case, we would probably only back test down here to 2860, which is where the high was for Q1 of 2019 of this year. Okay, I hope that all made sense and just sort of caught you up on where we're at. Have a great rest of your evening. I'll see you in the morning for the GDP reading at 8:30 Eastern.